30 minutes after 7 here on the AM show. Now let's get on to our Social Security and National Insurance Trusts conversation. You can call it the pension conversation, because we know that SNIT has increased pension benefit by some 18%. How did they arrive at this? What difference would that make? I've got Madam Eva Amegashie, who is Corporate Affairs Director at SNIT, joining me for a conversation. And we'll get onto Facebook as well, because we've posted, if you've got a pension conversation, please post it there so I can put the question to her. Just get onto our Facebook page as Joy News on TV. And who knows, if we've got enough time, we can open the phone lines as well. Good morning, Madam.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
And the new year came with the 18% increments.
Exactly.
Okay. How did you arrive at this 18%?
The National Pension Scheme mandates SNIT by Section 80 to index the pension annually. So we've been indexing since 1991 to 2017. And it's been fluctuating depending on certain economic indicators, like for instance, inflation, average salary of the previous years, and other things that determines the indexation for the year. So this year is 18%, and the 18% has been broken into two parts. There's a first part that is a 15%, that is a flat up rate for everybody who was on the state pension as at December 2016, plus a flat amount of 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos, which means that everybody who was on the state pension as at December will get an increase of 15% of whatever he or she was collecting as at December, plus a flat amount of 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos.
Okay. So who is paying this increment? Is it more of my money if I earn 1,000 Ghana cedis? Are you going to be deducting a lot more of it as SNIT contribution?
No, it's only for pensioners, those who have retired or those who are enjoying invalidity benefit and they are on pension. So they are going to enjoy this indexation.
Okay.
Current workers or contributors are not included. They are going to be deducted the statutory 5% and then the 5.5%. Then the employer is going to add the 13%, making 18.5%, and 13.5% will be paid to SNIT, and then 5% will go to the second tier.
Okay. So in the same vein, if I'm on pension and I take 500 Ghana cedis as my benefit every month, what's going to change about the 500 Ghana?
The 500 Ghana cedis is going to change by adding on 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos, plus 15% of 500 Ghana cedis. So 15% of 500 Ghana cedis plus 17 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos.
Okay.
That's the new increment that you are going to get from January 2017.
Okay. So what went into this?
That is, we use, like I mentioned, the law mandates us to do it. Then we use the average salary of the previous year, that is 2016 average salary. Then we use inflation and other economic indicators. They all come together, and we use that to determine how much or how indexation is going to have the following year.
And this took effect when?
January.
January. So if I'm taking my
pension,
my benefits at the end of January, I should expect this increment.
If you were on pension already, like as at December, you are already on a SNIT pension, you're going to get this. But if you are a new entrant, you have put in your application, and it is January that will have your first payment. And you're on minimum pension. That is, you collect 276 Ghana cedis. Those who are receiving minimum pension, these are the people that if we use their salaries they were earning whilst they were working, and we apply the formula, some of them fall below 276 Ghana cedis. And SNIT, in its own magnanimity, every year determines a minimum pension that nobody should collect a certain amount below the minimum pension that it will determine.
Okay.
So those who are collecting 276,
that's the minimum for SNIT.
For SNIT, it means that such people probably in their working life they never collected 2.7 million as a salary. You know the way salaries are, so they are minimum. And it might interest you to know that somebody is collecting 29,700 Ghana cedis as his monthly pension. So the salary you are earning determines how much pension you will get. So it is in our own interest that we don't hide our salary, or we don't push the salary into allowances and leave the basic. Because if you pay a basic of 5% of 100 Ghana cedis and somebody is paying 5.5% of, let's say, 10,000 Ghana cedis, you are not equal. So
explain how it works, because there are different tiers. So this increment, for instance, you say people who have retired already, and who have been on retirement by 2016, close of 2016, yes. December. But there are different tiers. So explain where this falls.
The National Pension Scheme introduced 3-tier pension scheme. SNIT manages only the mandatory first tier. Only the mandatory first year. So if at the end of the month, when a worker pays the 18.5%, only 13.5% comes to SNIT. 5% goes to the second tier. So SNIT handles only the mandatory first year, and we pay monthly pension.
Okay.
The money that goes to the second tier, the 5%, it's managed by, it's an occupational scheme that is in the workplace, and it's also mandatory, are managed by fund managers who are registered and licensed by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. So theirs is a defined contribution. Ours is a defined benefit. Defined benefits means that the law that founded SNIT determines how much or what formula to use. And it is there. Until the law is changed, nothing can be done.
Okay.
So ours is a defined benefit. And that is what, so SNIT only manages the first year.
Tell me, why do we find it so easy allowing the employers to give us more allowances instead of give us more in terms of the basic salary, knowing that a percentage will go to SNITs?
Sometimes it's either ignorance or connivance between the employer and the worker, because he will tell you that SNIT is a tax, so why do you pay? So let me pay your allowances and pay your salary. But you should know that the employer pays 13% of your salary to SNIT, whether they like it or not. The employer, from his own coffers, is supposed to pay 13% of his money, by your salary to SNIT. So if he's paying you less salary, his percentage will also go down. So when they tell you, and you also want to receive the money, but you'll be worse off when you retire, because when you retire, the allowances are not coming. So you say that, well, SNIT didn't pay me much, but you were paying us what you were receiving as your basic salary, and the allowances were not included. And when you go on retirement, the allowances won't be there. So you see that you are worse off. So what you were able to do during your working life, in pension, you can't do that.
Is there a law against that? Because what can one person do?
There was a law in the, I think, after the introduction of the pension scheme in 1991, that all salaries should be consolidated. And they did, but somehow it fizzled out. People want to have the money in their pockets more than just think about their future.
Could it also be that some people have also been discouraged about the amounts that people who go on retirement take from SNIT? So it's more like, pay me well, forget about SNIT, and let me save somewhere else.
Unfortunately, that's the perception, but people can't save. That is why Social Security the world over is all promulgated by law, because the welfare of the citizen lies with the government. So it's always promulgated by law. And SNIT, we've been going around educating people to contribute to SNIT, because it's their future. Most people can't manage their funds. So it is only SNIT, like with the pensioners that we have about 174,000 pensioners on our payroll that we pay every month. And every month, 74,000, over 174,000 pensioners on our payroll. And every month they increase by about 1,200. Every month new pensioners add on. And you see how...
Every month?
Every month, 1,200. And we pay them sometimes between 80 to 100 million a month.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And every month is going up. And with this indexation, you can imagine all the monies are going to just flip over. And people rely on it like they rely on a bottle of medicine. When it's delayed a bit, every third Thursday, it's supposed to get into the account. If it doesn't hit the account, depending on the bank, you see the calls. So you see how important the pension money is. Now, children don't look after their parents. So you have to invest somewhere so that you can look after yourself. You see how they rely on the pension.
Just a little education. How does it work? How long should you work to qualify to get some claims when you retire?
For old age benefit, you have to work for a minimum of 15 years, and you should be between ages 55 and 60 years. If you retire at 55, it means you're on voluntary retirement. And if you retire at 55, you collect 60% of what you would have collected at age 60, because it's reduced pension. Like the prodigal son, instead of waiting for 60, you say that, okay, you give me my money. So it's reduced. So you should have worked for 15 years, and you should be 55 years and above for old age. For invalidity, sickness knows no age. So you should have made a minimum of 3 years contribution, and there should be continuous 12 months contribution within the 36 months. Yeah, because with sickness, you don't know.
And then you're going to receive full claims?
And you go and face the medical board to see whether you are permanently incapacitated. So if the medical board agrees, then you continue paying you. Assume you're about 22 years, you start with invalidity. We pay you till you die. With pension payment, we pay you till you die. That's why when people complain that the money we give them is small, that's the status. Every year we're going to pay you till you die. And when you start collecting your pension, within about 2 years, you would have finished the money you put in the kitty. But with the investment income and those who are contributing now, we can pay you till you die. So if you live up to your genetic balance is good and you live up to 100, we pay you till 100. We have people who are in their 90s and getting to 100 on our payroll, and they've started collecting, and we are still paying.
How does it work? If I go on pension, do I get any bulk figure from SNIT before the monthly contribution, the monthly payments?
It used to be that when we were working under PNDC Law 247, but with the promulgation of the 766, that is from 2010, now SNIT only pays the monthly pension. The lump sum is being paid by Tier 2. But those who are still under PNDC Law 247 receive their monthly pension and the lump sum. If you're under, because there was an age cutoff between those who were 50 years as at 2010. 50 years and above as at 2010, they are still under PNDC Law 247. Those people, SNIT is paying both the pension, monthly pension, and the lump sum. And the lump sum is optional. But those below, who were below 50 years as at 2010, SNIT pays only the monthly pension, and the lump sum is ceded off to Tier 2.
Okay, so it means that this first group, they didn't have the option of doing Tier 2. So they are not on Tier 2. That's why SNIT is still paying the bulk figure.
Yeah, because the law said that the amendment law to Act 766, that's Act 883, said those who were 50 years and above, as at 2010, all of them, they go back to, they stay under 247, because that's also what we're operating. But the new entrants, those who were below 50 years, they are under 766. So SNIT pays only their monthly pension, and Tier 2 pays their lump sum.
Okay. So if I'm working and there's a break and I'm not able to contribute, but I get a different job, what happens to the period when I haven't contributed?
That is the novelty of SNET, that you can, even where your new job, you can contribute. If once you stop contributing, you were less than 55, then you have to wait till you are 55 before you come for your money. But you can continue to contribute wherever you are. If you leave the formal sector and you decide to do your own business, you can continue to contribute. What is important is you use the same social security number. So I come there. Even the law allows you to do 2 jobs or 3 jobs, multiple employment.
Oh, and you still can contribute from all these sources?
Exactly. What is important, you use the same social security number. The law allows you to do that.
In that case, what happens when I go on pension? Am I going to be paid separately?
No, because you use the same social security number, it all goes into the same account. But if you compare with your colleagues here, because you were doing 3 jobs, you are going to get a higher pension than they did because they contributed from one source.
Okay. How do you calculate whatever percentage you give me? Because if I started work and I was earning 1,000, but I got increments as the years went by and I probably ended on 5,000 Ghana cedis, how much would you be paying me?
When you earn 5,000 cedis, there's a formula. So when you earn more, you get more. And when you get additional years, for instance, if you have made the minimum contribution period of 15 years and you are 60 years, you get 37.5% average of your best 3 years salary.
Okay.
37.5% average of your best 3 years salary. Probably you have made more than the 15 years. For each additional year that you work beyond the 15 years, you get additional percentage.
Okay.
It could go as high as 60% of average of your best 3 years salary.
Okay.
So it is in your own interest that wherever you go, continue to contribute until you are 60, or you can work. Sometimes illness may not allow us to continue to work, but you can continue to work. And the more you work, the higher the percentage of you for the calculation of your pension.
So when I say I've hit 60, but I'm still very active and I'm working, what happens? I'm not able to contribute any longer to SNITs. Even though I'm earning.
You apply. With Social Security, what we are operating, you apply. We don't tell you that you are 60, so go home.
Okay.
SNIT will not, but your employer can tell you to go home if you are 60. But you apply. So if you apply, then it means that you have to cease contributing to the fund. But you can continue to work if you are healthy and you want to work.
Okay.
But you can't contribute to SNIT. So you apply, we calculate your pension, we pay you, start paying you, you start receiving your pension. So whatever you do after that, that's your own business. Probably you do not have to pay Social Security.
Okay. You're encouraging those who are doing their own businesses to contribute, but how easy is that?
It's easy. We call them voluntary contributors. We have 50 branches all over the country. They can go to any of our branches and just tell them, I want to join the scheme. I work on my own, and then we will ask you approximately how much do you make a month. Then you pay 18.5%. 18.5% of that to us. If it goes up, you tell us and we continue paying, you pay to us. Because those in the formal sector, some of them, they don't have permanent location. So they come to us. You go to the nearest branch to pay. And now we have this biometric terminals all over in 19 of our 19 branches. So the biometric terminal, you can access information with your biometric card. But if you don't have the biometric card, you cannot access it.
Okay.
So we try to tell the public that those who have already been registered, you go and get re-registered and get a biometric card. You can even go access it through a portal. You get a portal ID, then in your comfort of your home, access any information from SNIT.
So how do you feel that enough people from the informal sector are coming forward?
They are not coming. You know, SNIT started the informal sector in the 80s and 90s actually, for people in the informal sector. Most of the time, they want a separate scheme that will take care, give them loans, do certain things for them. So we set up this informal sector And later on, they became autonomous, so, but they were called the Social Security Informal Sector. Now, they are the, I think, NTAC.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
they are handling it.
Okay.
So they go, they have their marketers who go and register them and collect their money. But we have the voluntary contributors, those who can come. Probably they used to be in the formal sector. They are now on their own. They want to continue because they might not be 55 or 60. So they come and they can. So we have them on our.
Do you get the sense that we think about pension?
No, no. We think that between like our current age and pension is eternity. It might not come now. So when you talk about pension, even when you go to the organizations to go and talk to them about pension, they don't listen. It's only when they are 55 and 60, then they think about, where now I'll be going on pension. This salary might see some day. But we are advised that you start thinking about pension the first day you start work. So you plan your life and think about Social Security because it will help you. People think that no expatriates, so far as you work in Ghana, Social Security is not for Ghanaians, it's for workers in Ghana. Workers, so even when you're an expatriate, you're supposed to contribute to us. They only think about the old age pension. That's okay, I'm going to work for be in Ghana for just 2 years. Within the 2 years, something can happen to you. You could be involved in an accident, might be permanently incapacitated. Social Security will be there for you. You might die, your dependents will fall on Social Security. There are these benefits. And if you're an expatriate and you are living permanently and you registered as an immigrant, when you are going, we pay you your money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you pay you lump sum. That is at 883, the amendment, it brought an immigration benefit.
Can I be tired? Can I say that I'm tired of contributing? I want my money back at some points.
If you are 55 years and above.
No, you're not 55, but you feel that I want to take my pension money now.
It's the law that mandated the employer to deduct it and force the employer to pay on your behalf. It determines when you collect your money.
Maybe things are very hard now, and I feel that if I look at the contributions that I have made to SNITS, it can cushion me, it can help me. Can I come forward and take it?
No, the objective of setting up Social Security was not that, so you cannot. That you can, what you want to plow in some money into your business, and no, to take care of you when you are incapable of making earnings.
Okay.
Either through old age, invalidity, or death, so that you are the breadwinner and you cannot look after your dependents.
Okay. How many people are on the scheme today?
On the scheme, we have about active contributors, about 1.4 million. And when we talk about active contributors, those who within the last 12 months, we have received some contributions on their behalf. There are some people, they are registered, but they have stopped contributing. Others, within the last 12 months, we have not received anything for them. So when we talk about active, those who are active, we are currently receiving contributions from them. It's about 1.4 million.
Okay. If I die, what happens to my contributions?
When you die, irrespective of your age, they have to report the death to us first with the evidence of death. Then we'll release the names of the people you have nominated to inherit you when you die. If they are invalid nominations, for instance, they are not, some people nominate my church, my girlfriend, my future wife. They are invalid nominations. With Social Security, they should be relations. You know, relation. And if you have an adopted child, it should be legal adoption. No. And if you have a minor, by the Children's Act, the minor takes, or the minors takes 60% of whatever is due the deceased member.
Okay.
So if we don't accept illegitimate children, so if it's outside the marital home and there's evidence that that's the deceased child, then it's a minor, he takes 60% of whatever. So it nullifies the nominations that the deceased member has done.
Okay. How long do they continue to make the claims?
It's lump sum.
Okay.
Then with death and survivors, we pay lump sum once and for all payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's 60%?
If you're a minor.
If you're a minor. Oh, okay.
If you're a minor. But if not, whatever the percentages you have allotted to your beneficiaries, we look on that and we pay them.
Are there instances where families don't, come forward to SNIT to say that my father was contributing but he passed on?
Yes.
In that instance, what do you do?
It will be there until somebody comes. But these days, people are so knowledgeable about Social Security that they come, at least not a child, but a family member. They think probably they can get the money themselves, so they come and report. So when you come, we interview you and get enough information to help us to even proceed, because we've been informed of the death. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about student loans, and then I will just activate the phone line 0302211691 or 2. You can give us a quick call if you've got a pension question to put to my guests. Madam Eva Amegashie, she's Public Affairs Director at SNIT. We're talking pensions right here on the AM show. So if you've got a question, you can give us a call and then put the questions through. I wanted us to talk about students' loan. Are you still waiting for someone to come and say, I want to repay, or you are automatically using their contributions when they start work to offset the loan?
At the moment, we are not giving our student loan. No, we started in 1988 and we stopped about 5-6 years ago, because now the student loan trust fund has taken over.
Okay.
But we, for a period, those who collected the loan for a certain number of years, and they are on their payroll, that they are working, we use their contributions to offset their contributions to offset it.
Oh, okay.
Some of them, they come back, but the guarantors were contributors to the scheme. So by all means, we get our loan. So if the money is not paid and the guarantor is due to collect a benefit,
you take it out of it.
You will tell you to go either look for the student loan beneficiary to come and pay, or as a last resort, we have to take it from your benefit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do I take it that no students owe SNITs?
Oh, some of them are owing. A few we've managed to take those who are on our payroll. Some of them, they finished school, they left the country.
So what happens? There's bad debts?
No. The guarantors are going to pay. The guarantor will either come for old age benefits, will die and his dependents will come for the money, or be an invalid and will come. So by all means, we'll get our money. Because all the guarantors were members of the scheme. Okay.
Let's speak to Baidu, who's joining us from Takoradi. Good morning, Baidu.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your call. Let's hear you.
Yes, I have just 2 quick questions for my big sister. Yes, the first question is, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can I use my SNIT number to check my total contribution as I go on to contribute? Is there any system?
Okay.
Then number 2, this is a staff who worked for only 2-3 years. Then he went on pension, 60 years. It means that when he was about 55 before he was employed and started contributing only 5 years. What happened to this kind of a staff who has gone on pension? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Baidu from Takoradi. Let's speak to Anoche in Enyinem. Hello, Anoche. Mr. Anoche, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, boss, you're on air.
Yeah, thank you for the program that you are doing this morning. And I have a series of questions to ask. In fact, I will put it into 2 categories.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, my first question is, my father was a nurse. He died 2005, but he worked for about 4 years before he died at Nkari Government Hospital. But after his death, we went to the SNIT for the claims. But they told us that the government or the workers, the health directory didn't submit his deductions to the SNIT office. Therefore, the claims cannot be retrieved. In this manner of case, how do we tackle it? And my second question has to do with is that money going to attract interest on it?
Okay. But you said he contributed for 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Do you have his pay slips?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I've gone to the Senate office for several times. But anytime I go, they check and then what comes out is a blank sheet.
Okay.
There's no deduction.
Which of the offices have you been dealing with?
I've gone to Kumasi, Adun. That was immediately after the incident.
Okay.
I went there, and then last year, I can't remember, I went to Koforidua. Right now, I'm residing in the Eastern region. I went to Koforidua to see whether there have been some claims on it, but still, it is showing blank.
All right. Okay. We'll try and address that. Ma'am from Ahafo, I hope I've pronounced your name right.
Yes, Armstrong.
Hello?
Armstrong, please.
Armstrong. Okay, Armstrong. Good morning.
Yeah.
Let's hear you.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. I was a student at the University of Cape Coast, and I assessed the distance. Hello? Hello?
Armstrong, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I assessed the student's loan. And then I used part of my, I directed the distance, my Smith office to use part of my contributions to defray the student loan. So in that case, my years, is it going to affect my years of contribution?
Okay. All right. Very good question. We'll find the answers for you. Thanks a lot. Let's hear Philip, who is joining us from the Upper West region. Hello, Philip.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Philip. Thanks for your call. Let's hear you.
Yeah. I was also working and was a SNP contributor.
Okay.
All right. And then I left for further studies and my salary was cut.
You
So
left
I'm
for
back.
further studies and then
Yes, and my salary was blocked.
Okay.
Now I'm coming back to the service. I want to come back to the service and then the rate is taking. What happens to my SNP contributor?
Okay. All right. Thanks, Philip. Okay, I think we have enough questions. We want to start answering them.
Okay, Mr. Beidu wanted to find out how he can get his record of contributions. We used to give them out in the branches. You go and you print them. Then we moved our system from one environment to the other, so we suspended it. But now we have biometric terminals in about 19 branches, where if you have the biometric card, you can go and you can print your statement, or you can go to the branch and get it printed to see how you have fared. But if you go to the biometric terminal, you can view or print only the last 12 months.
Okay.
From there.
So this is like using the ATM machine.
Exactly, but it does not churn out money. But you use the card and you can access, and so many things you can do. Even pensioners can view how they have fared on it. Then the second question is, he's worked for 5 years, whether he can get it. Somebody started work late.
For 5 years and then
late.
Retired.
Yes, when he applies the 5 years that he has contributed, it will be paid as lump sum to him, plus interest, because he does not qualify for pension. Then Mr. Anoche wanted, somebody has worked for 4 years, and then 4 years deductions made, and was not submitted to SNET. They went to SNET.
They're not sure. I asked about the pay slip. He says the deductions were reflected.
Were
but
reflected.
They went to SNET and then was blank.
Was blank.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know the details of it. We have to find out. So if probably after the program he can leave his number, the Social Security number, and we can find out.
Okay.
And you wanted to know whether the money attracts interest.
Interest, yes.
When with Social Security payment, we don't talk about interest, because like I mentioned earlier, if you go home within 2 years, we'll have exhausted the money in the kitty. So by our investments that we do, we pay you like this indexation. But if you don't qualify for pension and we are paying your money as a lump sum, then we pay interest on you. So if you don't qualify for pension, but we are paying return, we call it return of contributions. We are returning your contributions, then we pay interest. But if you are collecting pension, you collect over and above what you have put in it. Then Mr. Armstrong said he used student's loan. He was a beneficiary of the student's loan, and he used part of his contribution to pay. He wants to know whether it will, yes, it will reduce his contribution period.
Okay.
So if you're thinking that you have contributed for 20 years, depending on the amount and how long you used to contribute it, it would have reduced the 20 years to about 13, 15, or 14,
Okay.
depending on the amount.
So you pray that you can make more years before
Exactly,
you retire.
but it affects your contribution period.
Okay.
Then Philip, he went for further studies, so he stopped contributing, and he has been reinstated.
Yes.
Yes, so with the reinstatement, he will restart to contribute again, but there will be a missing period, the period that he went for further studies. There will be no contributions,
Okay.
but he will continue.
Okay, so
Yes.
you won't count those years?
Yes, that obviously he didn't contribute, so there was no contribution for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just give us a call now. We can take some more questions on 030221169102, 030221169102. We're wrapping up very soon. We hope that we're able to tackle a lot more of your questions. I have a question. Do you have enough money as SNITs
Where enough means
to be paying people's pensions when they go on? Because when you give the figure, there's a huge, you pay 1,200 new pensioners every month.
Yes.
That's big.
that's big.
Added on to those who are already on
Exactly.
the scheme.
And we pay pension. That is why people cannot collect their money as and when they wish, because we have done actuarial projections to determine what we can receive at any given time. That's why we cannot, when you come and you say, give me my money, we can't give it to you, because we have factored all those things into the calculation, the payment of the pension. So you have to wait.
Okay. Let's speak to Gifty. Gifty is joining us from Takwa, and then we'll come to Tindana in a bit. Gifty, good morning. I hope you're well.
Good morning, yeah, and you?
I am very well by God's grace. Let's hear you.
Hello, yeah.
Yes,
very well.
Gifty. Gifty, we can hear you.
A colleague went for further study, and I had to guarantee for him. Now he's out for some years now, and I expect him to repay, because whenever I print my statement, I have that thing indicating that I've guaranteed for someone. Please, he's still with a scheme. I'm trying to get him repay. He's not. So how do I get him repay, or how do they help me for him to do the repayment?
So what do you mean now is that he's back, he's working, and he's contributing?
Yes, please. He's been back for about 7 years now.
Okay. All right.
So how do they compel him to do the repayment?
Okay. All right, Gifty. Thanks a lot. Tindana is in Bembela. Hello, Tindana. Good morning. Yes, sir. Let's hear
you. Madam is talking about pension. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tindana. Yes, Madam is talking about pensions. Let's go on.
Yes, I am a pensioner, but I have followed the discussion. and it's very, very amusing. But there is one thing that she talks about the best three contributions. But I had worked for 42 years. And at the end of the day, we will talk about the best 42, the best 3 months. The lump sum they gave us was just anything. And I just got some confused about what she just did.
Okay. Just hang on. Don't hang up yet. A little clarification. Yes. Is it 3 years you talked about, or 3 months? The best 3 years, or the 3 months?
I had worked for 42 years. Sure. My best 3 years.
Okay. Is it best 3 years?
Best 3 average of your best 3 years.
Okay. But you think Mr. Tina, you said that is not enough, right?
Yes, because the lump sum I was given, I think that what she's saying was not probably what I was given.
Okay.
Yes.
But do you still receive your monthly payments?
Yes, I still receive the monthly, and even with the monthly payments, it was It was something that was just too small. I didn't even, and we didn't know what to do. So that's why I'm just following the discussion.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot for sharing. I'll get here to give us some answers. Why is it so small for Mr. Tindana? Mohammed is in Tamale. Mohammed, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Mohammed. Thanks for calling. Let's hear you.
Okay. Good morning.
Very good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning. Please, I want to find out from the lady. It's like it's very cumbersome to collect your pension benefit. So people have been complaining about the process. So I just want to find out which way can you use so that you don't suffer getting your benefit.
Okay. Have you had any experiences?
Yeah, I know somebody who have had the student.
Okay, all right. Let's end with Abdul Razak from Kumasi. That's our last call. Hello, Abdul Razak.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you. Thanks for your call. Let's hear you.
Yeah. I'm a contributor, and I've been they've used part of my contribution to clear my my SNP loan. So I want to find out if I want to get that money and pay back so that the number of years remains intact. Can one do that?
Okay, very good question. Abdul Razak in Kumasi, thanks a lot. And that's it for the phone calls. Let's get Auntie Eva to give us some answers.
Okay, Gifty, the person she guaranteed for is back in town, and he's been working for 7 years, and is not paying. He has to, because she signed the loan agreement, so she has to go and look for the student loan beneficiary and force her to pay. Somebody took the beneficiary to court. Yes, we've had that. To force him to pay.
Okay.
Because he signed a legal document that you pay. So if you are working, you have to pay. He has to.
But was that successful?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if the person is proving very difficult, then a court action.
Yes.
All right.
So to repay the loan.
But the person took the loan. You can see on your system the person is working. Why don't you just use his money to offset?
That's why you are a guarantor. We've done a lot. But some of them, they change their social security numbers. You know, well, before this new system that we have, some of them change their social security numbers. Even in doing their second and third degrees, they change their social security numbers. So
how do you do that without SNIT noticing and realizing?
No, before we computerize, we have everything manual. You have a number. You are a student loan. You are a student loan beneficiary. So you are not working. So they were all giving social security numbers. They are not working. Now when they start working, they get re-registered.
So if I took a loan and I change my SNIT's number, what happens to the loan I took with the other number that I'm not using any longer?
The loan is there. So that is why the guarantors should always be checking on the beneficiaries. Because so there are 3 guarantors per student.
Okay.
So they have to. So he has to go and look for it. Then Mr. Tindana, that he's worked for.
The money is not enough. He's worked for 42 years, contributed.
It's not the length of contribution that one determines, but also the amount of contribution they are putting in. Those who are on a minimum pension, that is currently 276 Ghana cedis, like I mentioned, in their working life, probably they never earned that. And this is the pension they are getting. Even their minimum pension is higher than the national minimum wage. So when somebody, it's not only the number of years that you have worked for 42 years, but what was the quantum of money you were contributing. So if you were on the minimum wage, the person was on the minimum wage, it means 5% of 5.5% of that the person was paying to us. Yes, so it doesn't always say that I've worked for 40 years, so my money should be big. There are other factors too that determine that. Okay. Then Mohammed, to difficulty in collecting benefits, and you asked him whether he has experience. There are so many reasons. Some of them, it could be SNIT, it could be the worker himself. For instance, with the worker, I can give an example. Probably the person, out of ignorance, he has one or about 2 or 3 social security numbers. If you have 2 or 3 social security numbers, and on your first card it indicated that you joined the scheme in 1965, but your contribution started in 1980. We stopped to find out what happened between 1965 and 1980. Probably you had other numbers, so we have to bring all the numbers, consolidate them, and start, which means the numbers have different accounts.
Okay.
So we have to bring them together. Sometimes they don't even know, some of the employers were not paying. And we have to make sure everything is okay before we start processing.
Okay, so ideally when I retire, how soon can the processes finish so I can begin to enjoy?
It depends. Now what we are aiming, that within the 1 month, like you go home, within 1 month, the following month that you will not be paid, we should be paid.
Okay.
You should pay you. But it varies. It's not like that for everybody. Some people get it within 2 weeks. Others get it within 6 months or 1 year. All depends on, each one will be handled on its own merit, depending on so many things. But we are trying as an organization to make sure that the minimum should be, the maximum should be 1 month. Okay. But we are working hard towards that. So as they work, try and print your statement, see whether everything is okay. When SNIT, we give information that you should do this, like this biometric registration. People are not doing it. But then all your pieces of information are all embedded in the chip. It makes inquiries very easy. So we're appealing to them that any time we give information, they should try and listen.
Okay.
They shouldn't wait till when they are going home.
Okay, and I think Razak ended it for us.
Yes, he said, can he reverse the loan that he has repaid? Unfortunately, no. When you pay, I mean, we move everything, stabilize everything. Going to reverse it is not easy.
But if you haven't done it yet, can you physically bring the money so that your contributions are intact?
Yes,
okay.
you pay.
But as soon as you instruct SNIT to use your contributions to offset, then you can reverse that.
No, you can't reverse it.
Okay,
yeah.
But he has to work to make up.
Yes, you have to work to make up.
Okay. All right, I've enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Maybe we can have some kind of collaboration going forward, because I see that there are a lot of people interested in asking a lot more questions. But we're grateful for your time, Madam Eva Amegashie of SNIT. We'll have her back again. Who knows? Maybe soon. Thank you. Let's move on to other conversations. And after the NDC's defeat in the December 2016 polls, the biggest question has been, who will represent the party in 2020? Many names have come up. One of the persons whose names came up is former Trades Minister Eko Spiogabra, and Joseph Opoku Gakpo has been speaking to him to find out if he's interested in being the flag bearer of the party. Here's a playback of that conversation.
But in historical terms, almost all good leaders, all good achievers were never recognized during their time. It takes 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to recognize Leonardo da Vinci as a good artist or a painter, or Aristotle as a good philosopher, or President Nkrumah as a good Africanist. And it took 50 years for the AU to put up a statue for him in Addis Ababa. So President Mahama is a historian. He knows it may take 10, 15 years for what he has also done for Ghana to be fully appreciated. But for the time being, he's leaving office, and he lives in grace, he lives in glory. And I think all of us who have served with him appreciate his contribution to the country.
What is the trick for him? Initially, when he started, as in the Mills administration, for example, there was talk about a team B running the show, but looks like now a lot has changed, and you praising it all. What for you did the trick for him?
I don't think it's a matter of a trick. I mean, he became president in 2012. Am I right?
Yes.
When President Mills died. We are talking about the Mahama administration. That's what we are talking about. We are referring to comments that were made when President Mills was in office. There were two different governments. And this also has been explained in other circumstances, but it's fine to bring it up anytime you want. We are talking about the legacy of the President Mills, President Mahama administration. And I'm saying his legacy can be seen in a lot of infrastructure that is all over the country, which Ghanaians are benefiting from and will continue to benefit from. But I was also saying that historically, leaders and successful people are not always appreciated during their own time. It took Jesus being crucified for us to be praising him 2,000 and more years later. So I'm saying the same way, it may take a number of years for President Mahama's contribution to to be fully appreciated. So it's not about anything doing a trick. It's about people taking time before they appreciate what has been done for them. There are people who don't respect their fathers, their mothers today because they thought, why is my mother only a market woman? Why is my father only a taxi driver? And when they grow up themselves and they find how difficult it is to make a living, they realize that, oh, I see, my father, when he was a palm wine tapper, a cocoa farmer, actually he was doing a good job. And I, as a young boy or girl, just didn't appreciate what he was doing. That's what I'm talking about.
Will you step into his shoes in 2020? Will you do that?
I don't think we are talking about anybody stepping in anybody's shoes. First of all, it is President Nana Addo, start in January, who will be stepping into the shoes of President Mahama as President of the Republic of Ghana.
But as NDC leader, then it becomes
NDC
Mohammed.
itself is going through a process of review, a process of reorganization, a process of reflection on the factors that led to our loss of the last election. And then from there, there'll be branch, constituency, and regional and national elections of our party executives. Then after that, there will also be an invitation to all and sundry who want to consider themselves for leadership of the party to come forward. So at that time, which may be 2 years from now, if you come and ask me that question, I'll be able to...
I'm asking now because I know you had interest to the extent that you attempt contest.
10 years ago. So I'll give you an answer in 2 years or thereabouts when the party has invited those who are interested to run for the leadership to come forward.
For me, there's a high likelihood the response will be yes, as in you stepping up to the plate.
Media will always speculate. So you cannot stop the media from speculating. You cannot even stop Ghanaians from speculating because there are social media platforms where everybody is going on. People are creating different groups, whether you like it or not, for 2020.
Including fans of Dr. Amegashie.
My current agenda. My agenda is to help the party to reconstruct itself, to reorganize itself, to identify the areas of its weaknesses. Because if the party does not strengthen itself, as the president himself has said in certain meetings, if you take he uses allegories. Today he used the allegory of a baton race, a relay race. In some other meetings, he's used the party like a horse that you may ride. So if you don't ensure that that horse is healthy and strong enough, no matter who you put as a jockey on that horse won't win a race. So the key is to make the horse, the party, strong and capable of winning races. And then as somebody might say, even if you put a cat on it or a dog on it, potentially you could win the race. So that's the focus of my current concern, how to strengthen the NDC party. I was part of the reorganization committee of this party in the year 2001. And so I know what it took to reorganize the party and to get it back to a position of strength for it to compete in the 2004 election and then to compete in the 2008 election. I would like to put that emphasis on the reorganization of the party at this time and to contribute my best to the committee that has been put under Professor Kwesi to look at the issues both forwards and backwards and ensure that the party gets stronger. Following that, there will always be, competition about who leads any party. And so when the time comes, I think we'll see what happens.
So how do you say to those fans of yours who set up all of these fan clubs and are pushing Swegabra for 2020?
All those fans are being told today that they should focus and concentrate on strengthening the party and making sure that the party, as I said, if you compare it to a horse, has the strength and the capacity to win a race. When the horse is strong enough, when it is well fed, when it has practiced and rehearsed, it can win any race. That is where we should all focus our attention, not just only friends of Swegabra or people who belong to Swegabra fan clubs, but there are many, many other parliamentarians with various fan clubs, even those who are for the current president who have also formed various clubs urging him to run again. Let us focus on strengthening and uniting the party, because after all elections, there's a fallout. Those who lost primaries in NDC, some were aggrieved and went and became independent candidates against our own people, which led to us losing maybe 10 seats or more. Then there are all kinds of factions and anger between party chairmen and candidates about who got what money and who wasn't given what money. There are all kinds of things being spread around on social platforms which are generating bitterness and anger. And that, I guess, you can't do away with all of it. But it's important for those of us who may be in any kind of leadership in the party to emphasize the importance of party unity, of party coming together, of some degree of forgiving and forgetting, for those who may have committed errors also coming out to appreciate and apologize for their misdeeds if necessary, even those who need to recover funds or vehicles or things given to them and bringing them back to the party so the party can be strong. And that has to be the focus of our attention, and that is my focus.